And the businessman cleared of criminal charges in the 51.2 million cedi judgment debt has called for the resignation of the Attorney General.
Alfred Woyome has accused the Attorney General of receiving $1 million from the judgment debt paid him.
A letter intercepted by TV3 addressed to the Attorney General, signed by Alfred Agbeshi Woyome and copied to the Secretary of the President and Chief of Staff, was clear and precise. Alfred Woyome said he was not against the state appealing the case in which he was cleared, acquitted and discharged. Woyome said he was against the conduct of the current Attorney General and her public utterances during the trial and after judgment. He accused the AG and a private law firm of benefiting from approximately $1 million equivalent in Ghana cedis from the said judgment debt she deeply criminalized and viciously wanted him jailed for. He named an Agricultural Development Bank check number 727324 dated 6 November 2011. Ray and Ingborg Smith, the check was paid, note in acknowledgement of receipt of the money by the firm. Woyome said the firm Letha Brew & Co., knowing about the above occurrence, demanded to be paid an amount of over $1 million on behalf of their client. Mr. Woyome noted Letha Brew & Co. actually represented the other directors of Empower Park and Austro Invest. He alleged his confusion is as a result of the AG's insistence that the fruit from the judgment of a competent court of jurisdiction, in fact, the judgment debt is criminal. He accused her of being a beneficiary of that fruit which she is seeking so hard to taint. He humbly asked the AG to step aside or resign totally as an Attorney General for another person to pursue the appeal in the interest of justice. Mr. Woyome admitted writing the letter but maintained it was leaked to the media.
Right, so meanwhile, the Attorney General Marietta Brew-Opong has denied this claim, saying she has never had any personal dealings with a businessman.
Neither me, my firm, nor anybody I know benefited from that 51 million. Now, if you have a full set of the documents, you realize that there's a suit entitled Ray Smith and Alfred Agbeshi Woyome, issued on the 8th of, I think, September 2011. If you have that writ, you will realize that Alfred Agbeshi Woyome was sued by my firm in respect of a sum of $982,929 United States dollars, which he owed to Ray Smith. If this letter is meant to deter me or stall me from pursuing the appeal and from pursuing the enforcement of the orders of the Supreme Court, it will not succeed. I have the support of the President to use all lawful means to recover the money that the Supreme Court has said he should pay back, and I intend to continue doing so. If you have the graphic of Saturday, March 14, 2015, they granted Mr. Tony Lita an interview on page 3. He explains every instance we've dealt with Mr. Alfred Woyome, and we have always sued him. That is my firm. Indeed, when I say we, I'm talking about my firm, because I never personally handled any of the cases. Tony Lita always handled it, but that is my firm, or was my firm at the time. And so we've always sued him in 4 cases, and the details are all there.
Right, this News 360 live from Arizona, and we need to delve a little bit more into the Woyome issue, and we have Godwin Edu Jemfi. Godwin is a former crime prosecutor from the United Kingdom, and we're glad to have Godwin. Good evening, if you can hear me. Hello, Godwin. Well, Godwin.
Yes.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening to you.
Right, I'm sure you have followed the case since morning and for quite a couple of hours. One key issue we're trying to establish is whether the claim by Agbesi Woyome would affect the prosecution's plan to appeal the case.
First and foremost, what I wish to say is that the appeal process is not a rehearing of the entire case and hearing of any new evidence. The appeal will be solely based on the matters which were heard in the recent court hearing. It will not be based on any new facts or evidence whatsoever. So on that note, no, it will not. Mr. Wyome's allegation that the AG is implicated and so forth and so on will not affect the appeal whatsoever.
Right. So
that is entirely a different issue altogether.
Right. Gordon, we're trying to establish a point here. If the judgment is anything to go by, then what exactly is Woyome accusing the Attorney General of?
Well, as far as I understand his allegation, he's simply saying that the AG also received some of the money, and it will not affect the appeal whatsoever. It's a totally separate
the money that is being
for the AG's office, it's for the police to investigate it. Once they've investigated, they must submit a docket to the AG's office, and the AG's office will then be under a duty to consider the evidence. They will be under a duty to determine whether there is realistic prospect of a conviction if they decide to prosecute. It's a totally separate allegation.
Right. So taking the judgment into consideration, I mean, is there any problem with the money? Do you think?
Any problem with
after that we were receiving the 51.2 million cedis?
Well, it's not for me to decide whether that was a problem or not. I mean, the most important point is that he has been tried in the case, and he has been found not guilty. Now, if the AG, the Attorney General's office, feel that there is a problem, then the right step to take is for them to determine whether appeal is worthwhile, which I believe what they are currently considering. But personally, I mean, I don't hold any personal view over it, and I wouldn't like to express my personal view, and I don't think you're asking me to do that.
All right, so Gordon, we're grateful for your contribution. Gordon is a former crime prosecutor in the UK, and he was just expressing his opinion about the Woyome case.